So, it all kicks off with a howl. Rukia finally hears the hollow through the filter of Reiatsu Ichigo is putting out and rushes off to confront it, but not before Ichigo demands to be released. Dairuk keeps it real with Ichigo, telling him there's nothing he can do, so he just needs to leave it to a professional who has the power to. She opens the door and feels the full extent of the hollow's spiritual pressure, or Reiatsu if y'all can accept my butchering of the pronunciation, and is shocked she didn't even detect it until now. She thinks it's something up with her. It's not clicking yet that Ichigo is just that goat. Then comes Kabi, crawling on the floor, bloody, and warning her older brother to stay away from the monster that has just attacked his entire family. Which, of course, revs Ichigo into motion. The goat breaks Rukia's Kido, much to her bewilderment. Having broken Rukia's bindings and equipping a baseball bat, Ichigo makes his way downstairs and... he sees a hollow for the first time. And he is absolutely terrified. It can be easy to forget later on when Ichigo and his pals are mowing down hordes of hollows in a single strike, but these are terrifying monsters. Ichigo's trying to keep his terror down when he sees, in the hollow's hand, his other sister, Yuzu. And immediately, leaving his terror behind, Ichigo rushes in, that drive to protect kicking in. Now, before we continue, I just want to highlight some weird changes the anime made here, which in my opinion took a lot away from the scene. For one, they decided to switch Yuzu and Karin for some reason, which on its own is inconsequential. The real issue is that they also switched up the order in which Ichigo sees the hollow and slips out of Rukia's restraints. So instead of rushing down the stairs eager to fight only to be frozen with fear upon seeing the hollow, Ichigo instead tumbles down, sees the hollow, then immediately breaks free and rushes it. They essentially remove all of the build-up to seeing the hollow, which does take away a lot of the tension. And that's a shame, because it not only robs our first on-screen hollow of the gravitas it deserves, it also removes the element of home invasion. It's important that in the manga, the first things we see are a broken tray, then a poster of Ichigo's mom, then Ichigo's dad. All of these things that would normally feel safe, secure, even sacred. But now here they are, destroyed so quickly and so effortlessly. Effortlessly. Nowhere and nothing is safe from a hollow. That's the message we get as we read across the page. Now, back to the fight. The hollow swings at him. Ichigo blocks with the bat, getting knocked into the street. His bat's broken now and there's nothing to save him from the next blow, except... Ichigo catches Yuzu and Rukia stands in front of them, informing Ichigo that his family are all still alive, and also that the reason the hollow's attacking is because it was drawn to Ichigo's Reiatsu. Now, this is a bit of a character moment here. See, what Rukia expects is that Ichigo is gonna freak out about being a beacon for monsters to come and eat his soul. Instead, Ichigo starts blaming himself, taking responsibility for what's happened to his home and family. And Rukia, somewhat bewildered by Ichigo's self-guilt, turns around and apparently sheaths her sword. I can't defend this. Let's just hope she doesn't make it a habit. Ichigo thinks she's down for the count, another person hurt because of him. So he plants his feet on the ground, stands up to the hollow, and offers up his very soul. So Ichigo's trying to die. And this, everyone, is our introduction to the first core conflict of Ichigo's character. For reasons that shall be further explored down the line, Ichigo feels that he deserves to die. It's not his only conflict, but it is the central one of this first arc, and it's a conflict the Hollow is eager to exploit. Rukia protects Ichigo once again. She wounds the Hollow in the process and falls to her knees, admonishing Ichigo for trying to throw his life away. I want to iterate that what just happened is something a lot of people seem to ignore. People keep saying, Rukia in the beginning is a bum. How could she lose to a regular ass hollow? But people. She was dealing with a teenage boy literally standing still and asking to be eaten. Hell, not to be mean to the goat, but everything that went wrong was kinda because of Ichigo. Rukia not sensing the hollow's presence until it had already attacked. Ichigo rushing in with nothing but a baseball bat, distracting Rukia, though that one is on her, and then finally forcing Rukia to essentially choose between jumping into a hollow's jaws or watching him die. There was literally nothing else she could have done, and Ichigo recognizes this. Now that Rukia is unable to fight, he blames himself for what now seems to be their bloody fate. And then one last time, Daruk comes in, offering a way for Ichigo to save his family. He must become a Soul Reaper. By running Rukia's blade through his heart, Rukia can transfer half of her power to Ichigo, giving him the strength to kill the Hollow. It should be noted that this means Rukia thinks just half of her power is enough for a human with no battle experience to easily kill a Hollow. And people still think she's weaker than the average Hollow here. I mean, come on. There is a caveat though. Caveat? Caveat. Should the transfer fail, Ichigo will die, and this causes him to hesitate. And I really like this, because it's just really well-rounded character writing. Yes, Ichigo just offered his life to the Hollow, but that was while weathering the realization that he was putting his family in danger. Now he's cooled off, he's got time to actually feel the weight of death, and this fear is the second conflict we are introduced to within Ichigo. Though we won't really see it as a conflict until a bit later. Ichigo's broken out of his hesitancy by Yuzu, who in her nightmare still urges for her older brother to run away, and this, of course, snaps the fear out of Ichigo. Clenching his fist in resolve, he agrees to the Soul Reaper's plan. And here we see Ichigo and Rukia finally introduce themselves to each other. Already you can see the mutual respect they've developed for each other. For Ichigo, Rukia has protected him and his family multiple times, even throwing her body in the way of danger to do so. And as for Rukia, she's seen this young, human boy risk his own life to protect his family. The desire to protect others, that is the thread that now connects these two. And so, as the Hollow approaches, Rukia penetrates Ichigo. And then... Ichigo gets the Shinigami drip. Rukia is flabbergasted. Instead of giving half her power, Ichigo siphoned all of it, and look at the damage he's done already. Ichigo's cut off the same arm that Rukia herself was only able to gash. He's not a victim anymore. He's got the power to protect his family. Rukia finally realizes that Ichigo is him, and as she mentally glazes him, Ichigo chops off a leg. And as the Hollow falls forward, Ichigo even gets in a few last words.
You will pay the price for hurting my family, you Hollow scum!
Right through the head, it's done. With his first kill under his belt, Ichigo has begun his journey on the path of a Soul Reaper, a Death God, a Shinigami. At the end of each chapter of Bleach is a quick little sketch by Kubo. These sketches usually add more detail to the story, both in a literal sense and in a metaphorical sense. They're also simply used for comedy. But it's worth analyzing these sketches because they do often provide great value to our understanding of what's going on with the characters and the story. And this first sketch is no exception. Here we see Ichigo, clearly tuck it out from the sheer badassery he just emitted, and Rukia being approached by a person we won't see in the chapters proper for a little bit. Believe it or not, this little drawing is kind of peak foreshadowing, due to the very subtle questions it asks us to think of. Who is this person? They can see Rukia and Ichigo? So are they a Shinigami, or how do they know to be there? These are questions no one would ask on their first read-through, but upon coming back you realize, holy shit, of course he would be there. The anime kinda messed us up by not including this scene until way later in the flashback, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.